This week we're answering the question, how do you reduce taxes on your Social Security? Well, the first thing you need to understand is, how is your Social Security taxed? You'll see on the screen here, I've got some numbers. So I have single, $25,000 and $34,000, and married, $32,000 and $44,000. So what is the significance of those numbers? In the tax code, those numbers represent these two numbers represent a 50% level, and these two numbers represent an 85% level. Now, that does not mean that your Social Security, that half of it that's taxed at a rate of 50%. It simply means that if your modified adjusted gross income, that's a phrase, modified adjusted gross income, if it exceeds 50%, or exceeds $25,000 if you're single, or $32,000 if you're married, then up to 50% of your Social Security is included in your overall tax calculation. If your modified adjusted gross income, if you're single, exceeds $34,000, if you're married, if it exceeds $44,000, now up to 85% of your Social Security is included when calculating your taxable income. That's what those mean. But the question is, what in the world is modified adjusted gross income? It works like this. It is equal to 50% of your Social Security income. So whatever you get gross for Social Security, you take half of that number, plus, here's the fun part, everything else. I don't like that one. Everything else. Here's the deal. What do they mean by everything else? Well, here's a little bit of a list for you, what they count. Everything else includes any pension you get. It includes any earnings. So maybe, who knows? Maybe you're working part-time, right? Guess what? It's included. Rental income, business income, IRA, 401k, 403b distributions, right? Any pre-tax retirement distributions count. That's a biggie, especially when you have required distributions. Things like what if you get interest and dividends? That counts. How about this one? Tax-free municipal muni bond interest counts. That counts in this calculation. Hey, what if you're getting deferred comp, a deferred comp payout? That counts. Basically, everything counts. This all counts against you. And so what happens is, when you're into retirement, you're like, well, heck, you add all that stuff up plus half of your Social Security. Next thing you know, you're over the $44,000, single or married limits. You're like, oh my gosh, 85% of my Social Security is counted. There's nothing I can do about it. Oh, not so fast. Let's slow down a minute. Here are some places that you can get income that do not count in the calculation. So Roth, anything that says Roth. Income you get from a Roth IRA, a Roth 401k, a Roth 457, a Roth 403b. If it says Roth, doesn't count. Life insurance. If you get income from life insurance contracts, assuming it's structured the right way, doesn't count. Reverse mortgage income. If you have a reverse mortgage and you're getting income from that, doesn't count. Return of principal income. Like some annuities out there that are non-qualified. When you're taking income, you may have a chunk of that income be considered non-taxable or non-qualified return of principal income. Doesn't count. Disability income. Doesn't count. Now, I'm not going to keep going because they get more and more esoteric, but general rule of thumb is Roth, return of principal, reverse mortgage, disability income. Those are the kinds of things that don't count. Now, whenever you're trying to reduce your taxes on your Social Security, the game is to try to get some of this stuff in this category above we want to move them down, to the category below. We want to try to get that moved down. But here's the thing. Some of this stuff on the top section, it's not a lot you can do. But I'm going to highlight in the ones that there's nothing you can do about it. For example, pension. We're going to put a big X there. If you're getting a pension, nothing you can do about it. You're stuck. If you're working, I guess, I could say working, as long as you're working, nothing you can do, but you can always quit your job, I guess. So you could do something about it, I guess. Deferred comp. That's one that you're normally kind of set up and it just kind of pays out. As long as it pays out, you're stuck. These are kind of dotted X's, and that means as long as you have that income or need that income, not a lot you could do about it. But guess what? Pretty much everything else on the list, you control. These are the big three right here. Those three, IRA, 401k, you can always do Roth conversions. Interest and dividends, you can always reinvest that money in a more tax-efficient way. Tax-free muni bonds, guess what? Unless you're in the highest tax bracket, you shouldn't have them anyway. Those are the big three that cause a lot of the problems with taxes on Social Security. If you can work with a financial advisor who can help you with these three, your IRA income or 401k income, interest and dividends, muni bonds, if you could work with a financial advisor that truly understands tax planning, guess what? They can help you restructure those so that you could truly get your taxes on your Social Security to a minimum. Bottom line, remember this. Do not let the tax tail wag the investment dog. Don't do that. And everybody's different when it comes to taxes. I should have said that to begin with. But for a lot of people, and maybe you, there are things you can do to help reduce taxes on your Social Security. Here's the one, I really want to highlight this pension. That's the one. If you have a really big pension where you just might be stuck. Pretty much everything else, something you can do about it. But that pension, that's the one long-term that really can, handcuff you. Anyway, I hope you found this at least somewhat helpful. Tax planning, it's so unique to every person. You really want to sit down with an advisor who is knowledgeable in this space, who can help you kind of plan that out. And, if you're really good, you try it yourself, but I always encourage when dealing with taxes, talk to a professional. All right, hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again soon.